Being There, 1979 comedy drama based on a book with the same title, starring Peter Sellers. He plays Chance, a middle aged man who is clearly mentally and emotionally underdeveloped, stunted. He has lived his whole life as a gardener for a rich man, never leaving the house, mainly just watching television to get a glimpse to learn anything about the outside world. He's very childlike as a result, very naive and innocent and dependent on others. And at the very beginning of the film, the old man that he works for dies, leaving no successors, and the house basically goes into the hands of the attorneys, who politely but firmly tell Chance that he has to move out the very next day. So he gets his things, as little as he has, and he basically walks around town without purpose or a plan, until by sheer coincidence he gets into a mild accident where a car hits him. And that car belongs to a wife of an extremely wealthy and influential businessman. She gets concerned about Chance's hurt leg and offers to take him home so that their private doctor can look him over. He, of course, agrees, having no alternatives, and meets the wealthy businessman himself. And because of Chance's way of being and him not understanding the questions he's being asked about himself and answering them in odd ways, he basically gets mistaken for a businessman as well. The old man takes him under his wing and takes a liking to him, and so does the wife. And all of a sudden, Chance gets himself into a position where people think he is much more than he actually is. So the film reminded me, in that way especially, reminded me of Forrest Gump. There too, the protagonist is a mentally challenged man that gets involved in all sorts of outlandish, serious matters through mostly coincidences. Being There is slightly different, though, in the message that it wants to convey. While there is plenty of comedy in here as well, it's not really a heartwarming tale focusing on Chance himself, but rather using his character to make a comment on the financial and political elites of the USA and especially Washington D.C. The movie wants to point out how out of touch and delusional the old men that run the country are, from the way the businessmen, politicians, lawyers, and even journalists and the media interact with Chance, and how his sudden appearance causes massive ripples throughout their society. It's all meant to make us go, hey, these people are actually completely stupid. So stupid, in fact, that they refuse to recognize actual stupidity and naivete for what it is, even when it's literally staring them in the face. Because they are all used to maintaining a facade and not speaking their actual minds out loud, they refuse to even consider the possibility that Chance is different, that he's genuine, and instead they assume that he's this brilliant, wise, but mysterious stranger. I did, however, have a couple of issues with the film. Number one would probably be pacing. I thought that the movie was rather slow and unfortunately unengaging at that. I found it difficult to really get into the film, emotionally speaking, because Chance himself isn't someone I really rooted for in any way, and none of the other characters are really even meant to be likable. I also think while Peter Sellers is great in the role and does an admirable job of playing this naive guy, he feels miscast because of his age and appearance. He was over 50 years old when he starred in the film, and very much looks that age. Grey hair, a bit of a belly, this intentional lack of flair. But in the film itself, Chance is multiple times referred to as a young man, and a couple of times also as an attractive fellow. And you're looking at him going, no, he's not. What are you talking about? I just couldn't help but feel that either the dialogue should have been slightly modified to reflect Sellers' appearance, or a younger actor cast in the role, because as it stands, there is this weird dichotomy. At the end of the day, I would say Being There is a rather ordinary film. It's competently made, yeah, but and it has some funny scenes, and tries to provide a commentary on real world issues. But I just can't shake that feeling that it just didn't offer too much. It didn't stand out to me in any way. It's not impactful or memorable, to be honest. You can watch it, and it won't be time wasted, but you can certainly spend it on better movies.